Here are my top 5 bourbons of 2024 that you can get for under $100. Coming in fifth place is Old Emmer Cask Strength. Now, I do not work for Total Wine. I don't get paid by Total Wine. I don't get any compensation at all. So I just want to get that out of the way. I just happen to think this tastes good. The price is great. You get it on sale for about $40, $42 a bottle. It's a wheated bourbon that comes in a cask strength, 58.3% ABV. And I happen to be a wheated bourbon fan anyway, but I happen to think this is really tasty. I know there are people, if you go online, there are people that, in my opinion, the people that trash this bottle simply because it comes from Total Wine. I don't care. I mean, I know people have issues with the Chestnut Farm stuff, and the salespeople may be pushing their store brands, and this is one of them, and I get that. But I tasted this blind, and this matches up really well with things like Weller Full Proof, Weller Antique 107, Rebel Cask Strength, Maker's Mark, some of the cask strength. So it matches up really nicely, as far as I'm concerned, with other really good premium wheated bourbons, and it's at a reasonable price. So if you don't like Total Wine, you don't like Spirits Direct, don't get it. I mean, it's perfectly fine. But I did catch some flack with it but I'm not going to apologize. I happen to think that Old Emmer Cask Strength is tasty, and if you have an open mind, and again, don't work for the company, but if you happen to be at your local Spirits Direct retailer, they'll give you a taste of it, and you can taste it and see for yourself. So that's number 5. A little bit controversial. Next up at number 4, and these are, I've ranked these, but they're really in no particular order. These are all, I think, delicious bourbons. Some of them under $50 that I think are really tasty. Now this one also, I caught some flack for this one too. So this is Evan Williams Single Barrel Vintage. So why did I catch some flack for this? I caught some flack. I got a ton of comments when I first posted this review, like mid-year, that this is a Kentucky-only bottle. So let's talk about that. So there was a period of time where this was a Kentucky-only bottle. This year, 2024, they apparently made a lot of it, and I certainly know that it is available in places like New York, New Jersey, Massachusetts. So it is. This bottle is not, this year anyway, not Kentucky only. So what do I like about this? So this is an interesting bottle, because this is one that I enjoy. It's a smooth and easy sipper at 86.6 proof, but this particular bottle is 9 years of age, and it's a single barrel. But what's really cool about these is that they've got a date. So this was barreled on January 8th, 2015. They have a barrel number 610, and it was bottled on March 19th, 2024. It's a 9-year-old bourbon. And I don't see that many 9-year-old bourbons that come in at an under 90 proof, and I think it makes for a great combination. Where again, my non-whiskey drinking friends would describe it as smooth, not a lot of ethanol burn, but it has a great amount of flavor. Beautiful, the typical vanillas and caramels and oak, but a lot of flavor, more so than maybe some other lower proofers that I think tend to be like watery, like Basil Hayden's, that kind of thing. So I think this is super tasty, and I think this is great. Not only I enjoy it, but for your friends that come over, maybe want to like taste the whiskey, and you don't want to give them something that's going to be too harsh. I think this is a really good one. But overall, I think it's really neat that you can get these vintage barreled ones, and hopefully you can find one in your area. All right, coming in at number 3. And this is not just a pretty bottle, it's also a delicious bourbon. This is the Jamesy Pepper decanter barrel strength. And there's a lot about this that I like. So it's barrel proof, but it comes in at 108 proof, and I think that these lower entry proof cask strength bourbons, to me, tend to carry a lot of flavor with them. I don't know the chemistry behind it, but I think this one is really, it's a rich, full-bodied bourbon. There's a lot of cherry. There's kind of some bready notes on this, but it's got a nice, thick, oily mouthfeel, and I think it does everything right. Typically, $60-ish, $65 in New York. They fly off the shelves. It's a pretty bottle, too. It looks nice on the shelf, but I think that this is at 100 and, what I said, this was 108 proof. I think it's just right. Rich, delicious. I never get tired of it. Coming in at number 2 is this beauty. And I'm a wheated bourbon guy anyway, and this one I've been looking for a while. This is the Bardstown Origin Series High Wheat. Now there are other Origin Series bottles, so if you're looking for the high wheat, you make sure you get this sort of like beige label. This one comes in at 106 proof, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 106 proof. And it is a wheated mash bill, and it has 39% wheat. And that amount of wheat, to me, makes this, I describe this as a bakery in a glass. There's just this beautiful bready, like maybe like a pretzel dough, like a pumpernickel dough, bread aroma and flavor, and it's got a nice sweet profile. It's just a pleasant, well put together wheated bourbon. And I've matched this up blind against some of my other favorites like the Weller 107 and Full Proof and some of the Maker's Marks, and and I like it. It's got a different profile than other wheated bourbons, a little sweeter, and again I think it sort of amps up that wheated, the bready notes, that kind of like that bakery, fresh baked bread kind of thing. And I happen to think this is really tasty, and it's about $50 a bottle. I think it's a great value. I mean, I like pretty much everything out of Bardstown, and this one's a winner. And again, keep in mind, I don't get compensated for any of this. This is just my own unabashed opinion. Take it or leave it. Coming in at number one, this beautiful bottle. So this is Maker's Mark, The Lost Recipe. Now, this one I picked up at Costco. I think maybe it's available sometimes in some states outside of Costco, but this one I got in Costco for $54. So this is one of their, they've had a long series of wood finished bourbons where they take their base Maker's Mark cast strength and then they place different types of staves into the barrel to give it different taste profiles. The beauty of this particular bottle is that not only did they resurrect the roasted French mocha stave, which had been discontinued, it's now been replaced by this Mendian stave. But so the roasted French mocha stave, first of all, it just gives this really rich, you get the kind of the coffee and those chocolatey notes, like almost like a milk chocolate thing. And it's got one baked American pure and three seared French cuvee. But that's the 6 French mocha staves give it this richness, this chocolatey note, and it's not bitter at all. And I find I'm a big Maker's Mark fan, but some of the wood finishing series to me tend to get on the woody tannic side, whereas this one doesn't have any of that bitterness at all. And I think it's just a really nice wheated bourbon. Comes in at 111.9 proof, but the mocha staves just make this absolutely exceptional. And again, I think in particular for the price, usually I'm paying, at least in my area, for things like the Heart Release, some of the other stave finished bottles, I'm paying more, sometimes double that. So I think the price makes it even better, and this one's super tasty. So that's my top 5 bourbons under $100 for 2024. Let me know yours, and let me know what you think of my list in the comments. I appreciate you watching, and keep in mind, I'm just a regular guy sipping whiskey. Thanks for watching.